Good day everyone! Today, we are going to discuss the global north and south with the exception of London, UK versus the other side of Jakarta and Indonesia. Global North.
The global north consists of the richest and the most industrialized countries, which are mainly in the northern part of the world.
Global South.
The global south is generally understood to refer to less economically developed countries. It is a broad term that comprises a variety of states with diverse levels of economic, cultural, and political. London. The city of London was founded by the Romans and the rule extended from 43 AD to the 5th century of AD, when the empire fell. During the 3rd century, Londinium, the name given to the town by Romans. Jakarta, Indonesia. The first settlements on the site of Jakarta were established at the mouth of the Siliwang, perhaps as early as the 5th century AD. The city's official history, however, starts in 1527.
When the Sulta. Opposing sides of London, UK versus Jakarta, Indonesia.
London is hub of everything, including entertainment, business, and multiculturalism. London is where everybody wants to work and live. London is one of the world's most important global city and have been called the world's most powerful, most desirable, most influential, most visited, most expensive sustainable, most investment friendly, and most popular for work city. London is home of approximately 270 nationalities and 300 languages, which means London is not only a great place to visit, but also to live in. Jakarta now covers more than 250 square miles of what was once lush coastal plains and forested hills. One result of Jakarta's transformation is having a particularly devastating impact on the people who live here. This city is sinking. Current predictions are that by 2050, much of this enormous city is going to be underwater. The sinking is caused by Jakarta's sudden growth. Add to that, the sheer weight of the city and Jakarta is subsiding fast in some places by up to 25 centimeters a year, which concludes that the people working and living here are just having a borrowed of time.
Jakarta, Indonesia. Jakarta, Indonesia is a country where can be found in Global South. Roughly, half of this country comprises slums. The government, along with the World Bank, have determined that 118 out of 267 sub-districts have slums. Public houses of the poor people in Jakarta. Jakarta had a lot of skyscrapers. Land use distribution in the city was unequal, and there were a lot of settlements on unowned plots of land. And because of this, riversides, railways, back of buildings, squatter areas are some of the places where dwellers can be found. Slums in Jakarta remain a fact of life. In contrast, we have the country London. There were as many as about 52,000 registered public houses in the UK or the United Kingdom at the end of 2014, of which more than 7,000 were located in London. Some of the public houses in London are the following. The White Hart. This London's public house is known to be the first and oldest licensed establishment. This public house has a tiny entrance but has an extensive space inside. Next is the Ye Old Cheshire Cheese. This public house was formally established as an inn around 1538. This pub was rebuilt in 1667 after the fire. The Anchor House was also rebuilt after a fire incident. Next is the Prospect of Whitby, which is also known as the Devil's Tavern. Last is the Mayflower. It was named after the ship called Mayflower, which began its famous voyage to America in Rotherhithe. The gap between Jakarta and London is very far from each other, but even though these countries' governments are giving their best to come out and shine in the whole universe.
So we now move to the conclusion of Global North and South. Global North is more economically developed countries and considered the richest and more stable countries. Global South is less economically developed countries, defining the South as developing or poor countries. London versus Jakarta. London is one example of developed countries and can be found in Global North. This country contributes industrialization and digital advancement and have constant economy, and they can normally have a better standard of living and quality life. Jakarta is one example of developed countries and can be found in Global South. These countries are generally known as the developing countries, which means the gross domestic product, Human Developing Index, and general standard of living. This country is considered low grade to that of country in the north. So we now move to the major differences of each side. London have less population, high wealth, high standard of living, high industrial and development industry. And Jakarta have high population, low wealth, low standard of living, low industrial and development agricultural.